Hi, I'm Anita of My Juke and I podcast, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a fabulous day. And if you're seeing the show for the very first time and you like the show, please subscribe, like, and share, and hit the notification bell so when an episode comes out, you'll be the first to know. Guys, if you hear a little noise in the background, that's my air conditioner. It's very warm here today, and I have my air conditioner on, so it's making a little noise. But let's get back to Dan Wootton. Guys, can you believe that Dan Wootton is begging for money? I cannot believe it. Dan Wootton has been in the entertainment business for years. He worked at the Sun before he worked at some other place in the entertainment business. Now he's on television, and you're telling me that you are begging poor people. Dan Wootton, shame on you. Begging poor people, people who are on social security, people who are on government money. You are begging them, which is most of his followers, begging them, and they also claim that too on Twitter. They don't have the money. They're going to stay without food to donate to Dan Wootton crowdfunding. Dan Wootton is saying that he needs £150,000 to fight Byline because Byline wants to cancel him. Look at that. Dan Wootton says people want to cancel him. Byline is just reporting the truth. Dan Wootton is canceling himself for all his actions, for everything that he has done thus far. What about all the people that he went after? How about that? Did he ever think that he was trying to cancel them? And now the shoes is on the other foot, and now he's crying foul. All of a sudden, they want to cancel him. And he has the audacity to talk about how they want to cancel him because of his political views and his anti-woke message. Dan, shame on you for fooling the people. Like anybody cares about what you have to say. All people think about when they see Dan is gossip and Caroline Flack and now Martin Brennan and Maria Joseph and all the filth that you have written over the years about people, harassing people. Look, Lily Allen talked about Dan Wootton's bullying on the internet. She just mentioned that she was subjected to Dan Wootton's bullying. She had an addiction, and Dan Wootton surveillanced her, and he literally harassed her. That's what she said. So nobody is feeling sorry for Dan Wootton. For matter of fact, underneath the post that he posted on Twitter with his crowdfunding post, the responses were quite negative. People were literally having a field day with him, laughing at him, saying all kinds of things about him. Dan Wootton, you see what happens? When you're going up, you were stepping on people's heads, and now you're going down. People are just watching you go down, and they're having a field day with you. That's the reason why you need to live a life where when you're in a situation, people can look back and say, this man was a nice man, this woman was a nice woman, let me help them out. But when you tortured and hurt people, and when you have been accused of causing people to want to commit suicide, or even as you are being accused of having a role or playing a role in Caroline Flack's death, nobody will ever be sympathetic to you, Dan Wootton. You have done a lot of damage, as people are saying out there. And there is no way that people are going to take their money to support you. Right now, people want Dan Wootton to fall just like Humpty Dumpty. Whoa, whoa! Nobody cares for you right now, Dan Wootton. Everybody wants to see you fail. You were a laughing stock with that crowdfunding post that you made. People were like, if you're not guilty, then go ahead and spend your money. And for matter of fact, somebody posted saying that Dan Wootton is worth about $1.5 to $5 million. And yet, look at it. He's begging for money. What a manipulative man. He wants to keep his pocket padded. Meanwhile, taken from poor people. These people that generally support people like Dan Wootton are very poor. Those right-wing people over there, they're very poor. They have low expectations of everybody else, and they themselves are living very low lives, and they're the ones that are supporting him and taking their little social security money, their government money, and giving to Dan Wootton. Shame on Dan Wootton. I am telling you, this guy has no shame to be begging. Somebody said he must be guilty. He must be guilty. Now, the question here is, why doesn't Dan Wootton reach out to Rupert Murdoch that he worked for when he was at the Sun, that billionaire? Why doesn't he ask Rupert Murdoch to give him $150,000? $150,000, not dollars, pounds to Rupert Murdoch. It's like spare change. Go ask people like that. But nobody wants to be associated with Dan Wootton, because anytime you associate yourself with these types of allegations right now, you are going to look guilty. Okay? So nobody's coming to his defense. Now, I saw a post on Twitter back then where John Gliss said people should be looking into those allegations of Dan Woo Woo. And I'm like, John Gliss is supposed to be a celebrity. I sort of like ignored it, but then I was looking again. You know, I'm constantly Googling to see if people are picking up on the Dan Wootton story. And very few people are reporting on it. So, I did see that somebody wrote something about John Gliss. And John Gliss is supposed to have a show on GBN. And he's saying that people should look into Dan Wootton's story. Now, it could be two things. That John Gliss probably doesn't even know Dan Wootton that much. Although Dan Wootton claimed that he's the savior of GBN. So John Gliss should know who he is really. But the other thing is that there's a coup d'etat at GBN. Okay? John Gliss is coming up pretending that he doesn't know who Dan Wootton is. So he's throwing salt on his wound. But based on the other reporting that I had seen a couple of days ago, they said there that a lot of people are very uncomfortable at GBN right now. And it doesn't look like anybody's defending Dan Wootton. What I think at the end of the day, they're going to take Dan Wootton with his little beady eyes and toss him to the curb. That's what's going to happen to him. All of them, one by one, because let me tell you something, this news business is filled with traitors. Every man is for himself. They got their bills to pay. And they're certainly not going to let Dan Wootton cast a shadow over GBN for them, because they got their bills to pay. And at the end of the day, I would not be surprised if Dan Wootton goes on leave, and then that leave becomes a permanent leave from GBN. Look out. All the things that I was saying about this guy, I'm seeing it now in some of the papers. I was reading an article from The Guardian, and all the things, go back to my videos and you will see all the things that I've been saying. I see Guardian. The Guardian had a little funny story on Dan Wootton, and those are the very same things that they were talking about. This guy is trash. Dan Wootton begging poor people who cannot even feed themselves, especially in this crisis that is in England, where people cannot pay their bills, feed themselves, send their kids to school. Right now it is so hot they cannot even put their AC on. And you're telling me that you're sitting on your money and begging other people to fund your legal fees when you put yourself in your situation. Another thing too, why doesn't he go ask those people in the royal family, the members of the royal family, why doesn't he go to the palace? He's been getting those scoops. He's been William's boy, right? Allegedly. And that's the reason why he was able to get all those breaking stories on Harry and Meghan. And then when Harry and Meghan were popular in England, guess who he was getting those breaking stories on? William. When William got his haircut, guess what? Dan Wootton was the first person to write about it, so that the attention that Harry and Meghan was getting, it would fizzle out and be directed to William. You see what I'm talking about? So he should go straight to the palace and ask them for £150,000 That is nothing to them with the amount of money they have. But I think they wouldn't give it to him because the royal family is ruthless. They use people, and when they don't want you, they toss you out. So Dan Wootton, you look like you're on your own. And they said too, Dan Wootton even had the nerves. Something, this man is I'm telling you, he is definitely the lowest of the low. This man even had the nerve, as that was from a tweet from Byline, to send out this crowdfunding, whatever mumbo jumbo that he just came up with, to one of the people one of his victims. And I guess Byline News is going to be coming out with their third part of the investigation on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to that. So Dan wouldn't know he's in a lot of trouble, and he is trying to raise money to make his problems go away. Now, money can take care of a lot of problems, but this one, Dan Wootton, sorry, I don't think this one is going anywhere. I don't think this one is going anywhere. The last article that I saw, it said that he had about £4,000. I don't know if it grew as of today, but I know these people are there. Those people, you can even see them on YouTube, that is always commenting and is just rushing to see what he has to say negative about Meghan and Harry. Those are the people that's going to give him that money. One by one, they're going to give him that money. He is in trouble. He knows it. The police right now confirmed that in 2021, somebody reported some of the allegations that Byline News or Byline Times is claiming that about Dan Wootton. So there's confirmation, and I'm happy to see this because I was asking for the longest time. I need to see what, or the police needs to come out and say, well, not say confirm whether people have made reports about Dan Wootton in the past, and apparently that is the case. Scotland Yard is now talking about they are investigating reports that were made about Dan Wootton. So the heat is on. It is definitely on. So I am telling you, this guy, when I saw that Dan Wootton had the nerve to ask people for money, that's when I say he's lost it. And as all the people in them were saying underneath the post, and that's based on the people, they say Dan Wootton must have something to hide. Talking about they want to cancel him. What about when he wanted to cancel all the other people? How can they want to cancel you if they are reporting based on their findings? If you didn't do it, you would have nothing to worry about, right? But as I said, the story's unfolding, and we're not going away. We're going to be reporting on it. And I am here. I'm going to be, for matter of fact, I'm going to the store. I'm going to buy me a whole box of popcorn, diet popcorn. And every time I'm reading and I'm looking at the news, I will be having my popcorn out, and I'm on Twitter watching what people are saying. Although I don't spend much time on Twitter, I just don't nowadays, because Twitter itself is a dangerous place. look who is running Twitter. So I'll be looking and reading and watching Dan Wootton. You know, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, but if somebody has done bad, they should be accountable. If somebody has taken advantage of anybody, if they've hurt other people, then I'm saying then they need to be accountable for their actions. And that's where I am. I don't want to see anybody, you know, accused of something that they didn't do. But if you did it, my goodness, that's why we have our legal system in place. Our judiciary system are in place to handle matters like that. Yeah, so finally, guys, this is getting very, very serious. You know, we have to keep Byline News, the team that is working on that story, that Dan Wootton story, we have to keep them in our prayers. Reason why? They just reported that their systems were hacked. So apparently people want to get into their computer to find out what is happening, what information that they have, so that they themselves can use it to get ahead of the story. So they did say that the story that they, you know, are going to put out on Wednesday might be a little late as a result. Also too, they said one of the team members that is investigating the Dan Wootton allegations, their car was found with blood smear on it. So I think when people are in situations like that and they feel desperate, or even people out there who feel like they're invested in the story, they may try to do things to hinder the investigation or to make people fearful. But as Byline said, they are not scared. Their story, their investigation is going ahead. So we definitely have to keep them in our prayers so that they could get down to the bottom of the story, and you know, that nothing happens to any of the investigative, any of the members of the investigative team. So I just wanted to leave that with you guys. So anyways, I'll see you guys on my next show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And let's bring up that algorithm back. It's went down because I needed to do long content. So let's bring that algorithm back. Okay, take care and bye.